as I'm getting our, I'm going to get our chat set up here real quick. Let's see. While I'm waiting on that, I've got Brandon with us here on the live stream as well.
Type a message. Edit click up disable button, enable button.
Alright, we'll enable that. That way people can't spam messages anyways.
Type a message. Edit blank.
And we'll just put welcome. There we go. That's done.
Simming file.
Alright, so I figured we would go live.
30.0.2 ops pilot/meetings team.
I do have
media ops dashboard window.
I do have eurofly3 loaded. Now I'm not going to do a full live stream tutorial on this. I'm just going to kind of talk about it as we're talking. As I'm doing stuff, I might, throw in little things here and there. I went to do a stream last night, but I stepped away for a little bit, came back, and the plane had stalled out or something, so I don't even know what happened. But so I just ended the live stream, but oh well, things happen. When you got to step away, you got to step away. I'm guessing that I probably came to an altitude where I needed to go higher, and I wasn't high enough.
Probably.
Because what I've noticed on Eurofly, and it's fine, it's all being fixed as we all fly and figure out things that's, not working right. But the thing that I've noticed is no matter what type of crash you do, it always says stalled out. That the plane's stalled. So I don't know the exact details on that, but either way, not a big deal. So, but I've got Brandon here with us. Brandon, what are you up to today, my friend?
Dashboard.
It's a little cool
Combo
today,
SKM
staying a
TF
little warm after the
Beechcraft
really
36 Bonanza 1
heavy
dashboard
rain
window.
we had yesterday. It was amazing coming out of church, having to deal with heavy and stormy weather.
I'm telling you, we got a pretty good storm the other day, and we had our canopy put up, and I didn't realize how much rain had came that night.
Oh.
Next morning came out, and either the rain or the wind had collapsed the canopy, not all the way to the ground because it's got 1, 2, 3. So it's got 4 posts that are adjustable, and that's how you raise it and lower it.
Yeah.
And it had been at the one side of it was all the way down, basically about waist height.
Oh, man.
And I went to raise it, and it was bent, like the frame was twisted.
Oh, no.
Now I know the wind didn't pick it up all the way because we had it tied down.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about, like, I think it's cast aluminum or whatever it's called that them frames are, so they're not made of much.
Those are heavy. They're heavy frames.
I mean, they are heavy, but they're hollow, so they're not like one person could lift it.
Yeah.
Most of the frame is just straight, just aluminum, and that's not heavy at all. But the legs on each corner are the heaviest parts.
Mm-hmm.
But so I think it was the water landed on top of it, and you just, when you get rain and storms, you gotta put them things down. You can't keep them up. But we didn't realize how much rain we was getting.
Oh, we're going to be getting some more of it later this week, too.
Lovely.
That's
Lovely.
what I said.
Let me tell you. So otherwise, anyway, yeah, we got a lot of rain. We had actually got a tornado in Hanover where my other friend Andy lives.
Yeah, there was a tornado in Cuyahoga County in Ohio, too.
Yeah.
That killed one person.
This tornado that we had actually was over the Scott County Hospital. It was in the air. It was a funnel cloud. But then it had dropped wherever it did here in Scott County, or maybe it went halfway, whatever. Anyway, that tornado went 27 miles.
Wow.
And touched down. Well, I don't know if it only touched down in Hanover, but from here to Hanover, basically, 27 miles, and it was a F1 was the level, so it wasn't real strong, but it was
Thank
still.
Goodness.
It picked up one garage and turned it around, picked up another one and turned it, but didn't turn it all. Like, the one garage got picked up and set right back down after it spun it all the way around.
Yeah.
Another garage got damaged, and then there was a Taco Bell in Kentucky that got wiped out. You know, and that's why I tell people, when you have these storms, don't ignore them weather warnings. Don't ignore
Especially if
that
you get
stuff.
tornado warnings. Like, I remember back in '97 when I was living in Austin at the time, we had the Gerald, Texas F5 tornado, which still impacts that community to this day.
Yeah, you don't ignore
was
it.
horrible.
So, unfortunately, my friend Andy, not the programmer Andy, but my other friend Andy from Hanover, he decided he was just going to sit in his recliner in his bedroom. I'm like, man, you should have went to your basement. You got full shelter there. What are you thinking?
That is the dumbest thing you could possibly do in a tornado.
Yeah, don't ignore that stuff. That's not cool.
Hangar doors open.
So yeah, but anyway, I'm sitting here. I got eurofly3 loaded. I figured we'd talk a little bit about that. So once I get up in the air here, we'll discuss it. And I've already got everything set up. My
0 flaps at 1.
flaps are set to 1. In most cases on these small planes, you set your flaps to 1 for takeoff.
I actually can't wait to start flying with this because it seems pretty straightforward since you were explaining it to me.
It is. The trickiest part about Eurofly that I've came across is the taxis. You really want to get that stuff down and make sure you understand it.
Right.
Because when I first started flying with it, Eurofly3 that is, because we all been on 2. I assumed that, okay, you get on a taxiway, it's going to run east or west, north or south, and it's going to take you to the runway that's either going to continue north or south, or it's going to go east or west.
Right.
That's not the case. So, for example, I've got runway 5 left, and it's located at...
Combo box pilot Johnson 1 collapsed. Beach L's public height of different. Airport runways entrance 05R. Delta 2 runway 05R 23L runways 2. Run entrance 23L surface. Runway 05L entrance 05L. Delta 350.
Like
100.
right here, 5 left is the runway I'm taking off from at this airport.
Runway
okay?
entrance 05L.
Right.
Delta 350.
It says
100.
entrance
Runway entrance 05L. Delta 350.
05L
100.
Delta 350 100. The 350 100, like I explained before, is your XY coordinates. So, you know, the XY axis. So,
Right.
and K is your X, L is your Y. That tells you your numbers. So once that's telling me that I'm going to get on taxiway Delta, and I need to be at the coordinates or close to the coordinates of 350, 100.
Right.
Once you get there, you'll hear it say the runway. Well, then you turn to the heading of that runway, and the way the headings work is whatever the runway is, you add a 0. So if it's, for example, 5 left, that'd be 50 for the heading. If it's 9, it'd be 90. If it's 22, it'd be 220. You just add a 0. That's all you do. Which is pretty straightforward, right?
Right.
But turning on these runways can be tricky. You got to be in the right spot to get on the runway, so it don't, so you don't end up running off the runway. I've even been on the runway and I'm taking off and I run off the runway and had to end up slowing down. And let me tell you what, slowing down once you get up to 70, 80 knots in the airplane, you think would be pretty quick to slow down, but it's not.
Yeah, airplanes don't stop on a dime like a car does.
Now what I do to prevent myself from running into a wall so I don't crash when I need to slow down real quick, I'll take my plane and turn it as far as I can until I get it under control. Basically do a donut. It's better than crashing, okay?
Exactly.
So, anyways, so we'll talk a little bit about Eurofly 3, and then we'll talk a little bit about some other stuff that we know about.
Combo box descent map collapsed. 31 miles descent to 5.
Some very
31
exciting
dashboard.
stuff.
Combo box waypoints collapsed. Dashboard window. Communicate London. Johnson added. Johnson. Hi. London. Johnson added. Johnson. Hi.
Okay.
Dashboard window.
So I'm going to turn off the chat on Eurofly 3 with Control-Shift-G.
Dashboard.
Or you can mute it by going to the chat and hitting your spacebar. So
Dashboard.
I'm just going to turn it
Communicator
off.
off.
I'm going to turn the communicator off that way. But so yeah, we'll get there here. I got to taxi to Delta 350-100. So this runway, or not runway, but this airport starts you out. If you're in the hangar, you open the hangar and it's going to be to the north. Sometimes the door is to the east, sometimes to the west.
Yeah.
I've yet been in a hangar, at least on 3, that's been to the south. I don't even remember being in one on 2 that had a hangar with the door to the south. But
I don't think any of them did, to be honest with you.
But this one's got me at a door to
Hangar
the north.
doors open.
And it's open, so I'm going to
Parking brakes on. Parking brakes off.
release my parking brake, and then once I get in there, we'll continue this wonderful discussion. Yeah, we know some good stuff. I'll tell you that.
Dashboard.
Unfortunately, we're very limited on what we will say.
Yeah.
Dashboard.
But let me.
0.4 flaps at 1. 0.7 flaps at 1. 1 flaps at 1.
Usually, when I
1
take
flaps
off
at 1.
from the hangar,
2
I'll
flaps at 1. 2
I'll
flaps
set
at
my
1. 2
flap
flaps
to
at 1.
about
2 flaps
3,
at 1.
or not
3
flaps,
flaps at
but
1.
speed.
3 flaps at 1.
Yeah.
3 flaps at 1. 4 flaps. Choke off throttle. 4 flaps at 1. 4
That was
flaps at
another
1.
thing I forgot to ask you. When I'm flying these smaller planes, how
50
do I
parking in
set my
front of the hangar.
speed?
Minus 73 parking in front of the hangar.
How do you set your speed?
Yeah, do I just...
So you don't, at least in the small planes, you don't have an auto throttle
Okay.
where you can just put in the speed.
Right.
All right.
Minus 43 delta.
I guess I should have said, how do I control my speed?
Okay,
to,
so
say if I
the
need to go
throttle
3 knots?
is your home key, and your home and end
Okay.
is your throttle up and down. And to set different positions, there's 5
Minus
positions
20
on the
delta.
throttle.
Minus 18 delta.
So
Right.
you use control home to move up a position.
Okay.
So you have 5 different settings, and then that, obviously at each setting, it makes it a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
4 flaps at 1. 1 delta. 3 delta.
That's
Alright.
actually a lot easier
Sierra.
than 2, because I remember with 2 you had to do
Sierra.
control. I
Sierra.
remember the key command to do it, but I remember you had to do control
Sierra.
something to move.
I can't remember
29 delta.
if it
31
was the
delta.
same thing or not.
33 delta.
No, I don't.
35 delta. 4 flaps at 1.
It was, but I don't. The throttles I remember didn't have positions.
43 delta.
Sierra.
So like you really had to watch if
Sierra.
you.
Yeah, and the other thing I like about it is
Sierra.
when you're going down the runway, before you even
Sierra.
take off, you can set your degrees on your nose.
Sierra.
That way,
I
once
like
it
that
gets to
too.
the right speed, it just automatically
Sierra.
lift up and go.
78
Yeah,
delta.
because in 2 you couldn't do that. You had to
Sierra.
be moving before you could set that.
Yeah, 'cause you had to hit your arrow down 2 or 3, 4
Sierra.
It was
times.
like 3 times because you had to get it to like 15 degrees.
Yeah, they did a good job with this
105
one.
delta.
So we're at 105 on
108
Delta.
delta.
I'm looking to
110
get it
delta.
to about 150-ish. I should start hearing the runway information.
125 delta.
What's the weather like in
125.
this one? Is it a lot better?
130 delta. 50 delta.
All right, we're going to turn to the right here. Hold on 1 second.
10.
I'm going to turn to the right a little bit
20.
so I can
30.
30, 40.
40.
05R.
50.
05R.
60.
60, 70,
70.
05R.
80. 80.
80,
20, 86.
05R.
I'm just looking
86,
to get to 90
87,
degrees
88,
here.
89, 90,
05R.
86, 0 east. 84 delta.
05R.
Okay, now.
Throttle preset 80.
05R.
Alright, that beep gonna go away in a minute.
05R.
Combo box center asking for permission. Dashboard window.
Enter. runway.
05R.
164 delta.
SK321. You're permitted to enter the runway.
Alright, so now we're gonna.
05R.
0.2, 0.4, 0.5, 0.7, 0.8, 1.0. Choke off 1 plus 70.
05R.
60.
05R.
Alright, now I'm gonna move back to
50.
the north a little bit so we can
166
go
delta.
further.
40.
Runway 05 R2PL.
05R.
30. 20. 170 runway 05R 23L. 10.
Okay.
Minus 30. Minus 24.
Delta.
2. 0.
Delta.
6. 10.
We'll turn to 50 degrees.
20. 30.
40.
40. 50. 42.
Now let's get to
42.
50.
11. 43. 43. 43. Northeast. Northeast. 46. 46. 47. 47. 48. 48. 49. 50. 60. 50. Throttle preset 0.
Alright.
184 runway 05R 23L.
Okay. So now I'm at the right coordinates.
184 runway 05R 23L.
184 on the X.
108 runway 05R 23L.
108 on the Y. Okay.
108 runway 05R 23L.
Eventually it should say 5 left.
Yeah.
It's because 5 left and 5 right intersect each other, I think. So
Combo box center plan prepare run takeoff. Runway as takeoff
we're
asking
going to
for
ask
takeoff.
for
Dashboard
takeoff, and
window.
we're just going to take off, and then we'll continue our.
SK321. Cleared for takeoff.
Throttle
Clear
preset
for
5.
takeoff. Let's just go. And to do a full throttle, Alt Home,
Okay.
and that will open it up
13 flaps at
all
once.
the way.
$42 flaps at 1. Throttle preset 5. 54 flaps at 1. 65 flaps at 1.
All right, there we go. And I'm gonna pause this for a second, Brandon. Talk to these guys about just a few things that. Oh, you know, I think it's just garbage. Never mind. There's no one here. Just ignore the dogs in the background.
Yeah, they're.
Let me double check. Hold on.
Okay.
Talk to you about some of the stuff that you know that you know is going to be implemented in this new program coming out. Hold on 1 second.
So, we really can't say much about this new program. Like you said, we're limited on what we can say. There are going to be some exciting features coming out, such as being able to chat with one another. That's going to be exciting. It's just going to be an exciting program, folks. Like I said, we're limited on what we can say with it. So,
All right. So
but
I can tell you this much.
I have some magical healing herbs here that can heal his wounds.
And the thing is we're learning that
Take better care of yourself. As a thank you for the help, he gives me.
there's becoming more and more stuff out there as well. But I can't wait until we can, obviously, till we know more,
yes,
where we can, well, not really know more, when we can say more.
Lies horribly wounded on the ground.
There's so many things that simming is starting to offer look at, Rob's testing that one program. Forget what.
Say intentions.
Say intentions. That's pretty cool stuff too.
Yeah.
The one thing that I can tell you, people like options, and whether that's in the blind community or in the sighted community or whichever way you look at it, people
love options and they love choice.
Yeah, they like options and they like to have choices. And I know that the program that's being developed, I know that there's going to be a lot of options, and I know that it's going to include, as far as like things that people want to see, they're going to try to, satisfy as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, options are always
resumed.
a good thing to have.
Yep.
So we're
Take off
climbing now.
successful.
Once you start climbing on this,
293.
you want to
Set
put
flap
your
position.
flaps
Set flap
in. So we're going to set it to
Dashboard
0.
window.
And then, being I'm in the Bonanza here,
Flaps set. Yankee.
I forgot St. the says this, the
Safety
Bonanza,
zone.
you do Control G, and that brings the gear up.
Out of raised.
Okay.
The first few planes, you don't have to worry about a gear. It don't, the gear don't go up, but obviously in the Bonanza it does.
549.
Oh, I have a
581.
Starship update for you, by the way.
606.
Oh,
630.
So,
654.
remember how we were talking about,
669.
we were theorizing as to
693.
why the ship broke up when it entered the
716.
atmosphere on the flight test 3?
744.
yeah.
So
767.
apparently, SpaceX has
793.
come out and said that they're
817.
looking into that data, and they are
842.
actually, in all
872.
probability, coming up with
899.
the same
910.
thing that you and I were
932.
talking about, is the fact that they came in too steep, too fast, and it just was too much for the ship, and it broke apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, taking off in a space shuttle, and I'm not saying that it's easier, but when you take off, the things you got to do for coming back in are much different.
Yep.
And you can't have anything off by a hair, literally. It's got to be exactly the correct angle and speed.
Mm-hmm. According to what I've been reading, apparently they're wanting to try and do another Starship launch, another flight test, probably around the 17th of April.
When?
April 17th is according to what I've been reading.
I love technology.
Me too.
And guys, we're going so many places.
161 left at 249.
All right, so we got to turn now. Once you're in the air, you got to hit the letter N.
161 left at 249.
And it says
161 left at
161
249.
left at 249.
161 left at 249.
So I'm going to do Alt
Set course.
S
Set course edit.
and type in 249.
249. Dashboard window.
You know, I like that.
Sometimes when it turns, it will be off by a little bit, like 3 or 4 off. Then you just got to put it back in and straighten it up. But I do like the fact that it does that, yes.
16 left at
I like that all
249.
planes have that, because in the old version, you literally
Edit at
had
249.
to line it up,
213.
and it was a pain.
213.
It took a
213.
long time to line some
213.
courses up.
Edit at
All right, so
249.
we're straight on.
1019 miles west of Perinos Airport, 4 hours
Control
46
in.
minutes.
Now, normally this would be a 4-hour flight because the distance
1018
is
miles west of Perinos.
1018.
1018 miles west of Perinos
miles.
Airport, 4 hours 45 minutes.
So
1018 miles west of Perinos Airport, 4 hours 45 minutes.
now that I'm at maximum speed,
90. Throttle.
you hit your delete
90%.
key to
Throttle
also
preset
check
5.
the percentage of your throttle, if it's at 90% or whatever. But once you get to maximum speed, you can then hit shift delete. Once it's
215, 217, 217, 218, 218,
that will turn
219,
on
220,
the turbo.
220, 220,
Flight mode.
Oops, I hit the wrong
221,
thing.
I'm just glad we don't have
221.
silly
Turbo
flights where
mode.
it says avoid this country
Throttle
because
preset
we
2.
say so.
I don't
228,
think they're gonna have
232,
that. I don't know.
236,
From what I've
239,
read, no, I don't
243,
think so.
248,
Which, honestly, I'm glad
15,
of because I
throttle,
never liked that in the older
250%,
versions.
throttle
So
preset
if you
2,
hit the
turbo
delete
mode,
key, it says
15, throttle, 250%, throttle preset 2, turbo
throttle
mode,
preset 2. So it'll tell you your preset, it'll tell you the percentage of your throttle. Right now we're in turbo mode,
Throttle
so I'm
preset
going to
3.
take the throttle up to
304, throttle preset 4, throttle preset 5,
the highest amount.
332, 343,
And right now,
351,
turbo's definitely got this thing
359,
going faster than what it would
365,
really go.
373,
And, you know, in
386,
Eurofly anyways.
396,
Right.
Speed in Eurofly for the Bonanza is 213.
426,
Right now we're at
443,
443, and it can go way up to 723 or 43.
493,
And it cuts your time in half.
1009 miles west
Yeah.
of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 57
Gotta be
minutes.
careful with turbo because you won't wreck or nothing, but you want to watch the time because once you got turbo going,
1007 miles west of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 38 minutes.
see it's already got it down to estimated.
1006 miles west of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 32 minutes.
But I heard one of the dogs. Hold up. Hold on, Brad.
Computer. Open night manager. Forest.
Check on dog real quick, folks.
Alrighty.
And you. Alright. So, like I was saying, the turbo, you just gotta watch it because, like right now,
978 miles west of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 17 minutes.
978
Dock, console,
minutes.
and logged in. 976 miles west of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 17 minutes. 975 miles west of Merinos Airport, 1 hour 17 minutes.
yeah, an hour and 17 minutes from 4 hours, but, from my understanding on eurofly3, when you're doing your training, you either gotta do 10 flights, or is it 1,000 meter, whatever it is. I'm so used to doing miles or nautical, NM or M,
Yeah.
but
1 left at 248. Set course. Set course.
248. 24.
Dashboard window. Dead ahead at 248.
But I'll be excited when we can give you guys more details on the project. That basically hands are tied right now, but
Yeah. It'll definitely be more exciting when we can share more information.
right. I know that they said at some point we'll be able to at least talk about more detailed features, but right now we
really just can't do it.
yeah. And I get it. It makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
There's a lot of programs out there the same way. Even like with TFM, there's things happening, and clearly, developer said, I can't say this and can't say that, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's gonna be, it's gonna be good, and that's okay.
Exactly.
So, anyways,
Dead ahead at 947 miles west of Perinos Airport, 1 hours 15 minutes. 755.
see, we're at
755.
755 on
100. Throttle. Choked off.
the speed when turbo's on.
755.
755. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Turn around here and see what my puppy's chewing. You got it there, stay. No, stay. No.
I love it when dogs chew, folks.
Oh yeah, he is a chewer right now, folks.
I don't doubt it.
He's gonna be one big pit. Let me tell you that, because he's not even
He's
6
even a
months.
year old.
No, dude. Who, Chance?
Yeah, he's like,
No, he's not even 6 months. Yeah,
that's incredible.
and he already weighs probably 30-ish pounds, 40.
Wow.
He's a big boy.
That's incredible within 6 months. Like, he's big and
He's gonna be big like Mojo. Mojo is a big boy,
yeah.
and he knows he's a big boy because when he walks around with his chest sticking way out there and his head up high, like, look at me. What you gonna do?
920 miles west of Perinos Airport, 1 hour 13 minutes.
See, now we're at 920 miles.
What key do I press when I get my hands on that to check that?
Control N,
916 miles
Okay.
west of Perinos Airport, 1 hour 12 minutes.
and then you can do Control
Combo
Enter.
box pilot
and
Johnson.
tab,
Combo box flight plan collapsed.
tab once, and you do Control Enter, and say Flight Plan, right arrow, and then start down arrow. And
Starting
you can
airport.
get your flight
Dubnica
plan.
Nadvahum LZDP.
Oh.
Slovakia.
Like
Okay.
here, we left from Slovakia,
Destination airport. West of Perinos Airport, LEHC, Spain.
and we're flying
good old
to
Slovakia.
Airport. Weska. Dash.
uh,
Weska. UESEUHUESCA. Space.
I can't pronounce this.
Airport. Weska.
but
UHUESCA.
ESCA, Huska,
Dash. Perinos. Airport.
Perennials,
Dash. LEHC.
LEH,
Dash.
Here's the
LEH
code.
space. LEHC.
LEHC. So
Okay.
Lima, Echo,
dash LEHC,
Charlie, or Lima Echo,
dash LEH,
Hotel,
C,
Charlie.
Computer.
Spain, Autumn,
Which
LEHC,
is-
What
Spain.
airport code is LEHC?
Good old Spain, my friend.
dashboard wind 900 miles west of Perinos Airport, 1 hours 11 minutes. 932,
Yep, it's a Spain airport.
1 left at 247. Set course.
47.
Which means
Dashboard
you get to
window.
fly over the ocean.
Yeah, I can't remember. Eurofly's got a thing. It will show you what you're flying. Oh, yeah, if I hit, is it 0?
Jetsdorf,
Jetsdorf, whatever that is.
745 above ground.
We're 745 above ground.
Combo box air traffic control Austria 311.
And
Dashboard
we'll
window.
give us the exact.
Europe Austria Dolne Rakusko Krems and Donau Stadt Krems and Donau Altwiddeling.
Is it
48.374. 58 miles Czech Republic 4 minutes. 63 miles Czech Republic 5 minutes. Josh has logged in. 141 miles. 247. 133.5. 133.5. 143 miles. Unturbojournated. Unturbojournated.
let's see.
Hungary 101 miles.
Now I know, Brandon, you remember on Eurofly 2 where you could use U.
Hungary 100 Czech Republic 50. Combo box relic collapse.
J.
Dashboard window. 120 miles Germany 9 minutes.
J
48.331.
tells you
Yep.
the different areas.
Hungary 100
Yep.
miles.
Like Hungary's 100 miles to the.
Yeah, I believe J was what was ahead of you.
117 miles Germany 9 minutes.
Yeah.
117 miles Germany 9 minutes.
117 miles Germany 9 minutes. That's when I hit J.
Wow.
0. 168 miles Germany Slovakia 13 minutes.
And then if I hit H, it says
170 miles Germany Slovakia 13 minutes.
170 miles
171 miles Germany Slovakia 13 minutes.
Germany, Slovakia. I think that's where we came from. I
247.
think.
I think so.
Period gives you your above ground.
581 above ground.
Like right now we're 581 above the ground.
932.
Altitude is
Text message from Josh.
932.
Hey, what you all up to? Mind bringing me in? 247.
How is the weather in this one? Is it much improved?
Dashboard.
The weather at
Media
this
player
point,
01 cop by pilot slash me ops 30.3 stream chat document 2 word row 2 SP24. Career messages Josh column 3 8 of 9. Messages Josh dialogue. Send button alt plus S. New message edit multi-line blank.
seems to not be working yet. They're still working on it, I guess.
Private message sent. Yes, 1 second.
Okay, Josh came up. I think we're going to bring him
Dashboard
in with
window.
us. He wants to come in.
Dashboard. Media player 01
So,
column media play.
let's
Dashboard row. Dashboard window.
Josh.
Dashboard. Media play. By pilot slash meetings team. By pilot level 0. Level 1 Josh man 1 to 1. Josh selected for move. Level 3 John 1 to 1. Brandon man level 2 meetings. 2. Locked expanded 1 to 1. Selected users has been moved to channel meetings. Josh left.
What's up?
What's up, Josh?
All right, guys. So now Josh is with us here. But they're still working on the weather, Brandon, in Eurofly 3. It's not.
I figured they would
By
be.
pilot slash meetings team talk.
It's not
No,
working.
By
I haven't
pilot
played
select-
Eurofly 3 in like a month. I don't know.
By
what's
pilot
going on.
slash meetings team. Dashboard row. Dashboard window.
Otherwise, W will give you the weather, but it don't work. So
Dashboard.
I'm sure they're going to fix it. That's why, it's technically beta. Technically.
Yeah.
It is beta because it's not the actual full release. I will tell you, when you run it, if you run the launcher instead of just a regular Eurofly executable, run the launcher and that'll give you the latest update too.
Right.
You got a launcher executable and you've got just Eurofly 3 executable.
Right.
So
It took them a while to fix that launcher. That launcher was a pain point when it first came out.
I'm definitely going to run it from the launcher, not the...
Yeah, I run it from the launcher. I recommend it.
You want to run it from the launcher because you get the latest updates.
Yeah, you get the latest
Yeah, that's
updates.
why I was going to do it.
So that's what I
That
do.
way.
Is I'll run it from the launcher. And I tell anybody that just use the launcher. Like, I see some that use the regular executable and they're like, well, how come mine's not doing what you're telling? Well, it's because
You're not
probably
getting
don't have the
updates.
latest update. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, running with an executable is like if you're off the internet or something, you do that.
yeah, exactly. Or like if
Most-
you're doing the portable version,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can run that executable. But I don't know. I think that eurofly3 has done a lot better. I think 3 is better than 2. I think the areas that are most challenging for anybody, not like just me, but is you want to learn your taxiing before you get too deep into it, because
Yeah.
if you don't and you go, I mean, you even go off the taxiway into the grass, you will get penalized once you went beyond the training part. You've got to stay on the taxiways to get to your runways, because if you don't, you'll get penalized. And when you land, you've got to stay on the runway to the taxiway to the parking. You don't, you'll get penalized. Right now, going through training, you know, you can kind of, it's not really cheating, but it's taking shortcuts across.
I also
Across the
recommend
grass.
everybody start somewhere in Europe, because the United States is, there are swaths of airports missing, and like if you start,
Yeah, but they're not. It depends on what level you're at. You're not going to see certain airports until you can actually fly to those airports as well.
yeah, but like for the beginning training, I started out in like, well, there was only one Category 1 airport in the U.S., and the closest airport to it to fly to was over an hour away, and you couldn't get there with even even a full tank, like in a 152.
Where was you? Because there's more than one. There's Seattle. There's Michigan. There was.
For like for zero runway airports that you can start at.
Oh, well,
for,
no,
like,
zero runways. No. For,
Okay,
for no
yeah.
runways, yeah, you want to start in like Slovakia. Right,
Okay,
if I'm
yeah,
pronouncing that right. But yeah, again, like Josh said, though, he is right. Even beyond that, because like when you move up to the next plane, you're still in like training, and you go from the first plane and you go to the Piper. Well, it'll have you pick an airport and all that. Well,
Yeah.
I picked one where I was doing flights from Illinois to Kentucky, because that was my only choice, really. And so I did several of them flights while I had the Piper, and then this time I moved away from them airports, because you don't, like Josh said, you don't have that many options. Now they are adding more airports as time goes on. They're adding more in. At least that's what I'm told. But the one thing that I will say to anybody out there, like, don't treat this like you did too, and come off with all these combative criticisms and all this, because look, eurofly3 is a game. Clearly, it's a game treated as if you're flying, not in a sim. It's not a sim. And I hate when people sit there and call it a simulator. It's not.
It's not a sim.
It's not a sim.
It's not a sim.
So don't do that. Don't call it a sim and then be like, well, it's really no good because it don't do this and do that. Well, it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to. It's not a sim. And somebody.
I mean, it emulates things maybe a little better, than like 2 did, but I still wouldn't call it a sim. Like the safe altitudes thing is kind of like altitude restrictions on a star or something like that, or like
Or a SID.
394 above
using,
ground. 932.
Using like your charts to descend, figure out where you need to descend and stuff like that. In a sense.
and and the other thing is too, like if I do Alt Enter,
Combo box pilot Johnson 1 collapsed.
okay, I can tab
Combo box
once
descent map collapsed.
and it brings up descent map, and if you right arrow
High
and
above
then you
sea, same
down arrow on
altitude,
it,
safe
it'll show
circle
you
1,
as
2
you go
miles,
down,
same
it'll
altitude,
say
safe circle 1.7
same
miles.
altitude, safe
2 miles, safe
circle 2
altitude,
miles,
512 m, which is 50 m above ground.
512 m, which is 50 m, safe above the ground. The only thing I wish they would have done there is I wish they would have worded that a little bit differently.
4
because
miles,
they're
2 miles,
saying
safe altitude, 512 m, which is 50 m above ground.
512 m.
2 miles, safe altitude, 512 m, which is 50 m above ground.
Let's say like 512 m, which is 52 m above ground. So I don't know why they got the m in
I
both
think it was
of
like
them.
lost
It's
in translation. I think that's
Yeah, I really wish they would have done, like, if you're in the U.S., I wish it would be feet and miles.
well. If you're, I mean,
You can set it to miles. You can set it miles, but it still shows you when you look at it. It still shows m for me. I think
Right.
both of them mean meters. So like it says,
Same 2 miles, safe
meters,
altitude,
yeah.
512 m, which is 50 m above ground.
512.
Same 2 miles, safe altitude, 512 m, which is 50 m above
12
ground.
m, which is 50 whatever m above ground. So that 512 is your altitude that you look at with the Y, and then that safe above ground is where you use the period. Is for the above ground altitude.
Dashboard
Yeah.
window.
And you gotta really
271 above ground.
just understand it, and it don't even matter if you even make up a way of understanding it, as long as you understand what that means. Those things are really important with this game, because if you don't understand them numbers, you'll never be successful, like fully successful with this game, because some of the airports are really tricky. Like I flew to one last night, I was messing with it, and it said safe altitude above ground like 1,300, and then beside it where it says above ground it said 323. Well, when I got to the airport, what them numbers told me where it was safe. You got to remember that doesn't mean you can't go lower than that safe number above the ground when you're at the airport. Clearly, you got to be
that's just a safe
area. Yeah, you got to go lower than that number. So what I'm saying is, don't go by that number thinking that it means you can't go below it. Once you know that terrain, the area, then it'd be a lot better. But
Dashboard.
there's two commands that I find important, and that's control
0 miles,
semicolon.
12 m, 0 minutes.
See, it says when I hit that,
0 0 0 0.
it says
0 miles, 12 m, 0 minutes.
miles hoops.
0 miles, 12 m,
that
0
is.
minutes.
12, 0 minutes.
0.0 miles, Bearfeld 17, 18 m, 0 minutes.
That's giving you the altitude of like stuff in front of you, up ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And then shift semicolon.
2.8 miles, Hogle 1762 m, 0 minutes, minus 100.
That gives you, how do I explain it? What's down below you.
0.7 miles, Hogle 1762 m, 0 minutes, minus 100.
Like this one says
0.0 miles, Hogle 1762 m, 0 minutes, 800. 0.0 miles, Hogle 1762 m, 0 minutes, 800.
1762.
13 miles, Langer Run 1757 m, 1 minutes, 800.
M 1 minutes 800. And it say like, well, for example,
900 minus 438 above ground. Minus 665 above ground. Minus 665 above ground.
understand that number.
10 minus 663 above ground.
Oh, we're over water now when I hit period.
Minus 663
minus
above ground.
663 above ground.
Minus 160 above ground.
Yeah.
So I bet you we're above water.
Minus 160 above ground.
Now it says minus 160 above ground.
Minus 160
I
above
don't know,
ground.
Josh, what is your understanding to the control semicolon, shift semicolon?
I
What's the
think
best way to
control
explain that?
semicolon. Control semicolon is basically what is directly in front of you. Like, what is the terrain that's directly in front of you? Whatever hoot is. I don't even
Yeah,
know what
like
that is,
you
but
can look ahead of you and know if you need to climb more. Like,
yeah.
and then the shift is what's down below you, right?
Yeah, the shift is
semicolon.
what's like your shift is what's the objects that's directly
Minus
under the
819
plane,
above
yeah.
ground. Minus 819 above ground.
we're-
709 miles west of Perinos Airport, 56 minutes.
So now Brandon it says
708 miles west of Perinos
708
Airport,
miles,
56 minutes. 707 miles west of Perinos Airport, 56 minutes.
56 minutes. That's why I say you gotta watch it when you're on turbo. Sometimes you have to turn around if you go too far. Like I wasn't paying attention to turbo one day and I way overshot my airport. And I had to do, a good old U-E and come back, but
Oh no.
not a big deal. That's the thing about it. If you get to where you're at your airport and you mess up on the landing, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't land, I done messed up. Just go around and come back in.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad that all these planes have that auto course feature.
I mean
Well, auto course
the-
ain't always gonna.
auto course, you have to know which course you need to go.
You gotta know what
Right.
course, yeah.
There is
I
no,
mean, if you know that, like I said, I'm just glad it's there
yeah.
so that you can use
Zero.
it whenever you need to.
0.
And autopilot doesn't work at the moment, from what I was told. There is no autopilot. I think
Well,
that,
there is no autopilot feature like there was in 2, where you can just like hit a command on the runway and it just takes off and does the whole flight.
well, no, but there's supposed to be an autopilot feature. It just don't work yet.
Right.
Auto nav, I think that works once you get in the bigger jets, and that just keeps you lined up with. Which to me, that's that. See, I don't know if they mean that's not working, or there's another feature in autopilot they mean that's not working, but because the auto nav just keeps you lined up, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty sure I wouldn't think that that's broke, because that's a pretty simple feature that they had in the last, Eurofly 2.
Yeah.
683 miles west of Perinos Airport, 54 minutes.
I mean, it's because like in order for Stefan to get miles and feet in correctly, apparently he has to recode the entire map. Like he has to rewrite the entire map from scratch, because apparently this is the same one from Eurofly 2, just with added airports, and so he's got meters and kilometers and stuff embedded directly into the map data.
Is he planning on rewriting it at some point?
I don't know. Probably not, because it's probably going to take forever. That might be like a Eurofly 4 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would think that that's probably going to be another, The other thing that I do like about Eurofly is where his team has expanded. He does have more people. That makes it a little better. I mean, that tells you that there's more happening with it, at least.
Right.
But even Eurofly 3, you can still, customize a lot of things. Like you can, if you got better audio that you want to use, just switch it. Just put your audio in there. It'll work. Some of the sounds I like, and some of them I think are still a bit dull. But again, that's just personal preference.
Yeah,
You
not
know.
not a fan of the first plane you get, the engine
I hate
sound.
that first one. Yeah, that's sound. And the engine sound we can't change, unfortunately,
Does
because
it sound like a lot more like that one plane in Eurofly 2? What was it, the Ambassador?
No.
I think
I
it was.
wouldn't go that far with it, but it just don't sound. It's not.
The Ambassador, I think, is a plane in Eurofly 3. I don't know when you get it. I mean,
Oh,
it
man.
might be one of those things that you can. It's an optional plane. You don't need to.
I was
put it in
hoping
for
that
it.
wouldn't be in there. I did not like that plane at all.
Hopefully, one won't have to use it.
Oh, I know it. It was such a bad aircraft.
Make sure you're actually just playing with your chew toy and not eating it.
Oh, I'm sure he's eating it.
There you go.
What's the fueling sounds like for the planes, Josh? Is it still the same, or have they changed them?
When you're in a GA plane, it's like the same like car window noise.
Oh my goodness!
But when you're in a like like a fucking car, like an electric fucking window going up,
Yeah.
and then like a fucking the bigger planes, it sounds like like what it should sound like.
Yeah. That's pretty funny that it still sounds like a car window on the smaller planes.
Yeah, like when you don't request fuel and just fuel it yourself, it sounds like the car window.
Yeah. I would probably request fuel.
Which one is it? It sounds like the freaking window going up and down.
That's the one when you don't request fuel and you just put a like there's no air traffic control, you just fill it yourself, at the hangar.
Now I did test out this F2 command that you're supposed to be able to do with audio, where you can give it a command. I don't think that works yet because I've tried to do a few different things and it don't do nothing when you tell it.
I think there's a list of commands. I think like the documentation, like a list of commands you could do. Like you can't just do anything with it. You have to. It's a restrictive thing.
Yeah, but you can
really
customize it. You're supposed to be able to customize it. So if you want to do, like, for example, to get a runway assignment, from my understanding, you can create the command for it, the words that you use. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that, so I'm not going to speak on that 100%. But even the commands that are there, I've tried them and it don't do nothing.
Yeah.
So I think they're still working on it. Maybe I don't know. Let's see how far we've gotten.
624 miles west of Perinos Airport, 49 minutes.
See, 624 miles, 49 minutes. Now, if I were to kick off turbo, that time would go back up.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to don't look at the time, you guys, look at the miles. So if it says for example, let's say you hit control in and it says 748 miles, 3 minutes. You clearly know
you kind of
that
you got to turn it off right now.
Well, no, because when you turn it down, when you go up a turbo, that 3 minutes is going to go way back up because you're still 700 miles away.
Oh, 700, yeah.
Now, if it said 5 miles, 1 minute, you're probably going to overshoot it.
Yeah. Probably maybe do it like 20 meters.
Yeah, I'm going to do it like 20 or 30 meters out and see what that does, because I did it at 60 last time. When I brought it back up, it went to over 180 again.
609 miles west of Perinos Airport, 48 minutes. 755. 227 gal.
The other thing is, too, at some point you got to stop using turbo. I think it's once you get out of training, you want to turn turbo off.
Well, there's a thing in options where you can basically force it off, where it won't even work.
Yeah, you just go to settings and turn it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
when scheduled I don't know when scheduled flights and all that stuff go in, but that's when you're actually going to be penalized for turbo, when it's going to affect your rank and stuff.
Yeah, once you start making money in the game, you don't want to use turbo. So like once you get out, that's why I say once you get out of training, just turn it off, because otherwise, like with training, I'm glad we can use it in training, because you just want to get through the training and be done, right? Move on.
Yeah.
But 10:54 a.m.
All in all, I mean, I think eurofly3 I think they've done good with it. I like to fly with it right now because where I'm not as active in the simming right now due to everything else going on, college and work and life. I don't have time to dedicate into long flights, long flights. And there's really no short flight when you're flying in the PMDG because you got to do all your checklist stuff, all that. It takes time, and I don't have that kind of time right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, you could shorten, like now with V5, Reverse Officer V5, you can shorten, like you can remove all the test stuff and remove all that stuff to shorten the pre-flight.
Well,
so
but
you're
if you
not,
removed
like,
all that stuff, it wouldn't be as realistic as.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
No, it wouldn't, but like it would save you time.
It would save time, it would, but I sim for all them real effects, all the, so
Yeah.
if I'm going to go in and do all that, I might as well just do a flight on Eurofly because of being realistic. These checklists that you do is just something that, to me, makes simulating. That's what makes it fun. Is.
Yeah.
And I don't think that, like, I know on First Officer you can change the order of stuff, and me, I probably won't ever do that because I like to keep it in the order that it would really be. But that's just my preference.
I mean, you got to change one thing to make to make the sim brief, our sim brief data work because he by default it tries to you have to import via sim brief data via the electronic flight bag, which we can't do. So you have to change. There's an option you have to move one option, basically replace it with another, and it basically functions like First Officer Next.
Yeah. But I like keeping everything original, everything the way that, like me and George was talking, the way that it's supposed to be when you climb into a cockpit.
Exactly.
And if you want to be realistic, really, when the pilot goes in the cockpit, there's not very often is the pilot jumping in the cockpit and everything be completely cold and dark.
Yeah.
Usually it's already hooked up, power's going to it, stuff like that, which not a big deal because it is, it is simming, but it's also not. Doesn't mean you gotta, be 100% realistic. But what are you doing, Chance? I kept hearing like this. Like, what is he doing?
Flopping his ears?
No, that wasn't ear fluffing. It sounded like he was like either scratching or sniffing really fast. I don't know what he was doing. He don't throw a fit when I'm in here with him, but if I leave the room, he'll throw a fit.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got to have his daddy in sight. I'll have to tell you guys a story about another dog that we tried to, I'll save that for another time, but we had tried to, was going to babysit a dog for our kids. Anyway, I'll just tell you that dog's not here anymore. Our dogs would not stand for it. And my puppy wouldn't have had a problem with their dog being in our house, but that giant brick wall in there laying on my bed and little mini-me pit bull in there laying on the bed. She was more brutal about this dog we were trying to babysit than even the biggest dog. Like Willow was not having it. Like, oh no, you're not coming in my house. It's not happening. But let's check her time now, guys, and see how it's.
Dashboard. 532 miles west of Perinos Airport, 42 minutes.
See, 532 miles.
531 miles west of Perinos Airport, 42 minutes.
42 minutes. 531 miles, 42 minutes. If I turn off turbo, that time's going to go up probably triple the amount that it says right now.
528 miles west of Perinos Airport, 41 minutes.
But soon, Brandon and Josh will be back into the simulator world with us. Well, Josh can kind of simulate right now, but not fully. But
not with my flight stick that I have, which is really annoying.
So you do have a flight stick now?
Yeah, but the shadow won't, for whatever, recognize it.
What kind of flight stick is it?
It's a Thrustmaster. It's a Thrustmaster TE HOTAS 1. It's got a throttle. It's got a yoke on the right hand side of it, and
is that the one that's got the yoke on the right and the throttle on the left?
Yep.
And it comes. You can actually take it apart. You can separate them.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that one. That's a good. You can also, I don't know how you do it, but you can, it's also got a memory setting on it where you can set it up for two different settings. Like you can use it on one type of setting, and then you can also, like, I can't think what it's called, but
like I can't wait for the next version of First Officer, because when when I can use it, there's First Officer's got a new radio tuning feature where I can just hit a button, and whether I'm on VATSIM or I can remap a button on here to it, and it will recognize what frequency you're on, and like if I got a contact departure, I could either set contact departure via voice, or I could just hit a tune button to just immediately.
Does it got that feature now?
Oh, that's cool.
503 miles west of Perinos Airport, 39 minutes.
Next beta, which it should be coming on.
46.180.
But
8.004.
Like
46.175.
A thing too where we can remap buttons. We can do the trigger.
Somebody was asking me before I forget, because I don't know, Josh might know on this. On eurofly3, when you're in the air, if you hit the letter K or L, so if I hit K,
46.153.
it says 46.153. If you keep
that's
hitting
that's latitude and longitude,
46.144. 46.142.
No, because the more you hit it, the numbers just keep going down. Like if I hit K more than once,
46.135.
46.135.
46.132.
46.132. Or if I hit
L,
7.828.
Now it says 7.828.
7.817.
7.817.
7.807.
7.807.
Yeah,
I don't know what
those do.
I don't know what the point of that is.
46.109.
Because J and K clearly don't make it go up and down, because when I go back and hit J,
46.098.
46.098. If I hit K,
7.722.
7.722.
I wonder if that has something to do with like the map, like the Atlas mode, like you're browsing because you could browse that in the air now, and you can it's like probably a zoom level.
Yeah, it could.
483 miles west of.
But yeah, it won't be long, and you two hooligans will be in the air with us. Hold on, you guys talk for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take this puppy out.
Eurofly is going to be an interesting thing for me to test.
No, you guys will be able to hear me when I do that. So just hold on a minute. I'll be back here in a second, okay?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My plane crashes, we'll blame Josh or Brandon.
You can't blame us. We didn't do anything.
I'll be back in a minute.
I wonder, speaking of Eurofly 3, Josh, do you think we're gonna have the random events?
I don't know. I haven't played it in about a month, so I need to. I don't know. I may get back into it. I'm interested to see what changes and bug fixes were fixed since I played, which is basically since it first came out.
Yeah.
been like 2 months. Yeah, 2 months now.
Has it really? Wow.
Yeah, January 20th.
20th, I believe. Wow. That's amazing. Here we are almost at the end of March. It seemed like the year began yesterday.
Yeah. I'm very interested in Flight Sim 2024, and like we're already seeing the memory management that's going to come into it with Sim Update 15. Like I'm already seeing just it's just running better, just whatever they're doing. Like they're transferring some memory management code from 2024 to 2020 to make 2021 better.
Have they announced maybe a release date for 2024 yet, or not yet?
Not yet, but they have announced 2 base planes that of course we won't be able to use. The Cirrus Vision Jet, and the what's the other one? Another like business jet, another airliner. But
Speaking of airliners, did you hear we had another Boeing accident? Apparently, one of the exterior panels fell off when it was in mid-flight, I think it was.
Yep.
I think Boeing's having a rough year.
Well, I think Airbus is, they love their fly-by, they're cheering the fly-by-wire tech in Airbus right now. I mean, even though, that doesn't affect, shit falling off, but, that whole pilot software thing that happened with the Max 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Airbus was completely cheering their fly-by-wire tech, because that doesn't happen. Like the new A320 coming out in Sim Update 15 that they were demonstrating on the Flight Sim stream. They were demonstrating the fly-by-wire tech and the fact that right now with my Xbox controller, no matter how much I trim the yoke to keep it from stalling when you take off,
it stalls.
It will stall. Like Airbus, you can take off, you can pull back as hard as you want on the stick. It will not let you stall it out of control. It will pull the nose down. It'll basically trim itself out.
It's just amazing that Boeing has so many problems. Like we had one skid off a runway, we had one where the door fell off. Yeah. Now we have one with an exterior panel that falls off in flight. It's like I don't understand what's going on with Boeing this year, but
was that plane able to divert? I hope.
I think it was. I think it had just taken off from what I've read. Like apparently the panel fell off right after it lifted off the runway, so I think they were able to land.
So I guess they were just did a circle and landed, I guess.
Yeah. But it's still bad for Boeing. Like, how can you have that many accidents in not even a year? Like, not even 2 months' time?
Yeah, something's
definitely going on at Boeing.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that apparently there's been reports that have come out that apparently debris has been left in fuel tanks of newly manufactured jets.
Oh.
And tools left behind. I'm like, how can you seriously be that negligent?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Actually, that Boeing that skidded off the runway happened here in Texas somewhere. I think it was in Houston.
Oh.
Makes you wonder.
Well, I know one of them last year was in their own headquarters in Washington, like the airport.
Makes you wonder if Boeing's becoming very unreliable as far as safety goes.
I don't know. I don't know if it's Boeing. I don't know. Well, it's got to be something internal in Boeing.
It's something internal at Boeing, definitely, because I've never heard of other airline manufacturers having these sorts of accidents. Like, yeah, occasionally a few, but not like so many in a row like this one.
Yeah. Yep, I'm already liking the.
No, you're not. Don't lie.
There we go again. I haven't had that happen in a long time.
So we were just talking about Boeing and their slew of accidents that have been happening.
You know what? Like George said, it's when a big company like Boeing, they have these accidents that happen, and all of a sudden it becomes the biggest thing. Because
the media just makes it a circus out of it.
They make a circus out. But if you take, and if George had a company and he built 5 jets,
yeah,
and them jets had a problem, do you think he would even be a spotlight moment? No, he would not.
No,
it is a big deal, but it's not, because the odds of another window coming detached or a panel coming detached is as much of an odd as you getting on the plane and it crashing.
Yeah, because it was just odd. Because I was just telling Josh about this
389 miles west of Merinos Airport, 30 minutes.
Just detached itself when the jet took off.
Well,
from San Francisco.
You're talking about the panel, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the panel that came off, it was actually the spot where it came off. They can put either a door there or a window.
Oh.
And it was a window that it came off. Actually, from what George told me, it was actually a window, and it was missing bolts. So it wasn't even Boeing that did it. You know that Boeing don't do they don't do the building.
They outsource the manufacturer.
Yeah, the manufacturer did it. So Boeing's taking the hit for this, but they're not the manufacturer that does the not maintenance, but the
manufacturing and the building of the jet.
Yeah, well, the building of it, the structure of it, like putting it all together or whatever, the assembly, I guess.
Yeah.
They don't even do the assembly. It's like Josh said. So, really, the media
Boeing
needs
just
to
focuses on the software and stuff like that.
Exactly.
FMS.
And really, the media should be focusing on, well, who is the one that put all this together?
I'd like to know that myself, because they keep saying, Boeing has had a record of leaving things behind in the jet and the fuel tanks of jets and tools.
But Brandon,
and I'm like, this isn't Boeing.
But thing is, it's just like if I ran a company. Let's just say that I ran a maintenance company for Delta. Let's say that I was Delta. I owned Delta Airlines, and I ran a maintenance company. And let's say the maintenance company, they do the repairs, but the oil that we use comes from another company.
Right.
We put this oil in, all of a sudden something bad happens. They're coming after me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the owner of Delta.
The maintenance company, yeah.
And it's
I mean the media just wants to point fingers at Boeing because they're they're Boeing. They're the makers of the
they want to crush the name, just like when it comes down to presidents, they want to crush anybody that's in the spotlight. Anything that's in the spotlight, the media crushes it.
Yeah, unfortunately,
355 miles west of Merinos Airport, 28 minutes.
Ridiculous.
It is.
478 above ground.
And I'm not blaming Boeing myself for these.
No, I know you're not. I was just
making who the manufacturer is myself.
The manufacturer, I think, is in Washington somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's northern Washington somewhere, like northeast Washington.
Somebody should be asking them questions about, hey, you manufacture this stuff. Why are we having panels that come off and doors that come off? And
yeah, exactly. I agree.
0.
I will say
0.
the cool thing about Eurofly 3 is I've got my Honeycomb Alpha here, and if I can hit a button
15 left at 232. 15 left at
that
232.
tells me,
15 left at 232.
you know, which way I need to turn the line to be on the right course.
15 left at 232.
Oh yeah,
Set
you
course.
can
Set
actually.
course.
Well, does it?
Dashboard
does
window.
does the yoke part of it work as an actual yoke?
Yeah,
in
so
Eurofly?
if I was to turn my yoke to the right, like I just did,
-1. -1.
it moved it
-0.
to that direction.
Oh, that's really cool.
But as soon as I let go, it goes back, so it don't stay. You know how like with the keyboard, if you do right arrow, it'll stay at that number.
Yep.
So if I go left and then go back center,
-1. -0.
well, it's supposed to go back
Yeah, I
to
think-
0, but it goes to -1. But now up and
I
down,
think
if I
that-
pull back on the yoke and then I go back dead center, it'll bring it back dead center.
Wow.
0.
I think
43
it's
right at
because
232. Set
when
course.
you do the
Dashboard window.
left and right with the yoke, at least
Dead ahead at
my state, I think it's
232.
supposed to simulate rudder, and Eurofly doesn't simulate rudder, so it's just
Well,
it
you're supposed to be able to program it too through Eurofly 3, but I don't understand how to do it. I've tried to go in there to the settings under the settings on Eurofly 3 to customize it, but it doesn't seem to work for me. And maybe I'm doing something wrong. I mean,
Dead ahead at 232.
that's a
apparently this
possibility.
Thrustmaster apparently is actually supported. It actually recognizes it.
Yeah.
Like
Some
as a
some of them it recognizes 100%. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I know that there are probably going to be people that's going to try to contact us about this information about this company. Again, it's not that we don't know what it is. It's that we can't say. What I can tell you is that I can tell you, or we can tell you, it's going to be a good program. It's going to be really good. There's going to be things in this program when it comes out that we've yet seen in other programs.
If ever.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go to that extent because I don't know. You know, there might be other programs out there we just don't know about them that, you know, might not be accessible to us, but accessible to...
Right. No, I was referring to programs that were accessible to us.
Oh, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, you very, very well could be right.
307 miles west of Perinos Airport, 24 minutes.
So now it said we're 307 miles.
306 miles west of Perinos Airport, 24 minutes.
24 minutes. Now, again, if I turn off turbo, that's going to take that
304 miles west of Perinos Airport, 24 minutes.
24 minutes and probably move it up to whatever the normal time would be for over 300 miles, which is still a little bit of a trip in a Bonanza.
31 gal.
The one
Set
thing
fuel
I
amount.
will say, there is a bug on Eurofly 3,
Dashboard window.
and I'm doing it right now.
55 gal.
And that's the fuel. You can refuel while in the air.
160 gal.
Yeah, you should not.
Set fuel amount.
You should not be able to do that.
either that.
Dashboard window.
Well, again, it's not a simulator, so.
Right. No, I get it.
222
But
gal.
later you might get penalized if they've got that implemented. But I don't know if they do because it's not supposed to do that, period.
288 gal.
And they'll
Set
probably
fuel
fix it. I'd say when the full release comes out.
Dashboard window. 298
Oh,
gal.
I bet it'll get fixed.
333 gal. 357 gal. 368 gal. 392
Oh, I
gal.
wish we had that
Set
option
fuel
too
amount at
when we had to fly that ambassador.
dashboard
That
window.
would have been really nice.
I've been flying the Bonanza the last few days and forgot completely about it, gear up and gear down, because I wasn't used to using it.
490 gal.
All right, now we're back to 490 gallons. The reason I did a longer... from my understanding in the training, you either got to do 10 flights or you got to do something that equals
600 meters. 600 meters in.
Oh, is it 600 meters? I thought it was 1,000 because the trip I'm doing is 1,000 meters. So this should be the only flight I got to do in the Bonanza. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, no, I think it has to be. It has to be. If it's over 1,000 meters, that like if you don't equal 10 flights, like I think it's got to be. It's always got to be 10 flights, or like it's 10 flights. If you've met 10 flights, then it's got to be 10,000. So if you did like short little hops or whatever, 10 flights, that's not going to count. You have to do like 10. You have to do.
Yeah, but what you could do one really long flight, like I'm doing. It's over 1,000 miles, and then you could do a bunch of little ones, and it would still count because you equaled the required number.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so the other requirement you have to meet is just the 10 flights now. So you can do like little.
The other thing that works, and I didn't know that it would, is you could take off and do a go around and come back and land at the same airport.
Yeah.
As long as you did the flight, like as long as you got the miles required, then you could just do a takeoff and land. And I don't know if this one. I don't know if they got this implemented yet, but I heard they're going to, if not, and that's the touch and go.
Oh, that'd be nice.
No, but they don't have that. I can tell you that because, I mean, I guess you could try and do it. I don't know if it probably would make you crash and end the flight probably if you try to like land and then immediately just take off again.
I bet it wouldn't. I bet you could take off as long as you ain't got nothing in front of you that you would crash into. There's no reason that it would crash, and there's no reason the game would end because it won't end until you get to parking. So, if you know where you're landing and know that there's going to be a long thing ahead of you, you could definitely touch down, speed back up, and take off. I bet you could.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to try it. Maybe on another stream, guys. Not this one, clearly.
469 gal. 1 left at 231. Set course. Dashboard window.
All right, so
250 miles west of Perinos Airport, 19 minutes.
250 miles, 19 minutes. The time, you can definitely tell it's turbo because the time don't match up to the distance.
Nope.
Yeah, it never has, even in 2.
No. Oh, somebody was asking me in email, can you download the older versions of Eurofly? Yes, you can. You can get Eurofly 2. I don't know why you would rather do that one than this one because the thing is, once you learn the keys, it sounds like a lot. You know, Control Shift E and Control Shift Q, Control Shift C, Control Backspace, Control E, Control R. Seems like a lot, but once you learn it, it just comes to you, just naturally comes to you.
11:23 a.m.
So, it's not as bad as what you might think it would be. There is a lot of commands. I think the most important part to learn is taxiing. It's probably one of the most important things is get that down the best you can. And landing would be second on my list because you got to do it the right way or you're going to have problems. The way I do it, when I get close to the airport and I can get my frequency tuned in, I'll request my runway, and then I will go to the waypoint for that runway. And as you're down arrowing, like for example, let's say runway 10. It's not going to be my runway, but just example. So I go to my waypoint. It'll say 10A. Down arrow again, it'll say 10B. Set 10B as your destination. Once you get to that, go to 10A. for your waypoints. Once you reach that one, then set your airport back to your destination. And then when it says you're at the airport, set your heading to that runway. So if it was 10, it'd be a heading of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time to land, you'll hear a solid tone. It'll go beep. And then you just alt down, or not alt down, but alt in key. And that'll bring your throttle all the way down.
Sure, that sounds easier than landing on, you know, the zero runways airports.
Yeah.
Landing on what?
Landing on the, you know, the beginning airport, like the zero runway.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
small airport.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's easier.
But I mean, you don't you don't get those waypoints with the smaller airports, do you?
I've been getting the waypoints with the Piper. I got them, and I got them with the Bonanza.
Okay.
So what's the trick to landing at the small no runway airports with the Cessna, the one you start out with?
You gotta look at the safe out. You have to judge the above ground and your safe altitude, and keep.
Usually, what I do by the time I get to when I'm at 3 miles from the airport,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have my plane around 20 on altitude, above ground, AGL, the above ground, whatever, at 20, because anything above 20, if you start throttling down, you might not land quick enough.
On the runway, yeah.
On the runway. So yeah, Josh is right. That first runway, or that first plane you use, it's a little more trickier because you don't have as much setting you up for the landing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned it, if you don't request approach or whatever, that don't matter. But
This is trying to simulate a literal visual approach.
The
like it's coming in with
waypoints, once you get them waypoints and you follow both them waypoints and then you turn to the heading of your runway, almost every time you'll get landed. As long as you know, are at 20 or less. 15's a good number, really, if you're at 15, but I've done it at 20.
You use the ILS system, you know, it's got like an ILS system you could use, unless it's not in the Bonanza.
I don't know. I don't think the ILS is in this because you're supposed to be able to use it with. If it's available, I think you hit Control S.
Dashboard.
Yeah, and select the runway. Yeah.
Yeah, and that don't do anything. Not that I've noticed. I'll try it when I get close enough to this airport. I don't know if.
Because I mean, in regular sim, you can use ILS Bonanza can land RNAV.
Yeah, it should be able to.
178 miles west of Perinos Airport, 14 minutes.
Now see, it says 14 minutes, but it's also 178 miles. So, once I get to about, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to probably get turbo started down when I get to 90 miles because it takes a minute for the plane to get all the way from 700 on speed all the way down to 213.
One left at 230. Set course. Dashboard window.
And then I did change the setting with when you're turning in the air. It says it's supposed to give you audio, like verbal, like when you're turning on the ground. But I just use the sound because I use the S to read my coordinates. It's just easier. Because I use it anyways in the air anyways because usually when you're turning in the air it's much quicker.
230.
Yeah.
You know, so
11:29 a.m.
Let's see.
Dead ahead at 230. 230.
But yeah, I would say the hardest thing to me was getting down these taxiways, because there really is no training for the bigger planes, so you're still going to mess up on taxiways sometimes on these big planes when you're turning. What I will tell you, do not go into a hangar when you're flying these bigger jets, because when you go to do your next flight, you got to turn around, and you might not have the room to turn around in the bigger jet. So
Yeah.
your best bet is to not go in the hangar when you get into big jets. You can take off from a hangar, but don't go back in it on landing, because you're going to have problems. That's a certainty.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
755. 141 miles west of Perennials Airport, 11 minutes.
141 miles.
Wow.
139 miles west of Perennials Airport, 11 minutes. Dead ahead at 230. 137 miles west of Perennials Airport, 10 minutes. Dead ahead at 230. Dead ahead at 230. 134 miles west of Perennials Airport, 10 minutes. Dead ahead at 230. Dead ahead at 230. 130 miles west of Perennials Airport, 10 minutes.
130 miles, 10 minutes. And it says...
129 miles west of Perennials Airport, 10 minutes.
I can't pronounce that. Weska Perennias or whatever it is.
Saverton.
Now, if you hit 0, that showed you the current area you're in.
Lizak.
Like right now it says Lizak.
Lizak.
And if you hit 9,
Combo box air traffic control, France 312.4 collapsed.
it shows air traffic control. I never tune to those, because
Dashboard window.
if you tune to air traffic control and you don't need to, you're going to get an error, and it's going to close out the whole sim.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
So make sure you only tune to approach unless you got to tune to air traffic control.
Yeah, I think that's basically like I kind of wonder when you would do, like, when you follow a flight plan, when you would do the navigated flight, because that's supposed to simulate like IFR.
Yeah,
but, like,
because
the
it asks
waypoints
you
are-
direct or navigated, but they're still working on it, because when you take off, it'll tell you turn to this heading, and it won't be correct.
And it's not,
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
it's not even, the vectors aren't even, it only vectors you once.
Yeah, yeah. So you got to even treat the bigger jets like you do the small ones, as far as going to the correct course.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see.
11:33 a.m.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I got a meeting here in about 20 minutes.
All right.
So I'm going to pause the stream. Not stream, but the plane. Disconnect the stream, and then when I come back to finish our flight, I'll message both of you guys, and I'll meet you back up here.
Dashboard.
Okay.
Okay.
All right? So
Sounds
Paused.
good.
Paused.
I'm going to pause
Five
that,
pilots / meetings.
and then I'll be back here in a little bit, guys.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Dash system alt plus media player ops 30 start recording checkbox stop streaming check.